Whoa, it's the wife's Mercedes. Needs new shock absorbers on the rear. Easy job, you say? Bollocks, I say. See, there's a large piece of plastic here that I have removed. Obviously, I have removed the wheel. Here is the shock absorber. Why have I removed that piece of plastic? Well, because you need to get to that bolt. And this piece of plastic crap, which isn't needed, covers it. And I thought it was attached up there. Fortunately, it's not. Oh, well, no big deal. Oh, look, and there it goes up inside the boot. So let's go inside the boot, shall we? And we'll just get on the top of it. Oh no, you fucking well won't. All of this has to come out. And looking at it, and I haven't done it yet, I will, and I'll show you me doing it. Oh, looks like there's a piece missing. Okay, I think that back piece has to come out first, then that side piece, then that side piece. And they look like they're tucked under here. So that means this floor mat has to come out, which means every piece of crap that's in my wife's boot has to come out. Fortunately, there's no dead bodies. I'll probably find a few purses, maybe a few pairs of shoes, and perhaps an adoption certificate for a dog or two. Oh my God. What a fucking nightmare this is gonna be. Okay, well, let's do a step back in time, and we'll do the wheel removal, that plastic piece removal that I showed you, and then we'll show you this removal. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long ass video. By the way, this is a 2008 Mercedes-Benz, or as my friend that used to call them, Mercedes, E350. My wife loves this car, which is why we are spending money on it. And there is no two ways about it. Don't argue with your wife, just do as she tells you and fix her car. Otherwise, you gonna die. Alright, let's get on with it. Okay, let's get started on getting this job done. First thing, empty the boot of stuff. Now, this stuff is control arms, they're going in later. And shock absorbers, one for each side. Get them in place. And a thermostat. We raised a code and it said possible thermostat is problem. So I thought, see if it comes back. Well, we reset it, it didn't come back, but the boss is not happy. She says change it, so change it I will. Also, it's a bit of a plus because we changed the coolant at the same time. And now we remove all of this crap. Oh yes, that's that shield. My wife likes bags, but this is ridiculous. Dog blanket. I know, I'll put it all inside. Yes, if I put that on the ground, I would be in big trouble. Ice scraper in Arizona. I do have to say though, a couple of mornings in the winter it can get a little frosty, but it soon warms up. Right. Now the next mammoth task is to remove all of these panels to get to where the shock absorber is. First one that's got to come out is going to be this one. Well, that's not difficult. And what do we have here? Apart from a mess. Okay. Wow. It's hard to decide what's got to come out next. Holy shit. As I've got to get the side panels off, this has to come out. I've got a funny feeling. Yeah, I gotta get a big ass screwdriver to undo those clips back there. Those two white ones that you can see, they have to come out. Then I should be able to pull this panel out, which will then allow me to take these side panels off. What else have we got here? That probably doesn't need to come out. No, that's part of the panel, that's okay. So that doesn't have to come out. What I'm seeing here, this panel, yeah, there's a split in the corner of this panel, so that means I probably have to take this piece of trim off, otherwise I've got to remove the boot lid. That's not happening, of course, so that's got to come off. And I may have to take this off in order to remove the net so that I can remove the panel. Oh boy. I sure don't want to make this easy. I'll bring you in closer when I start to take these panels off. For the moment, I'm going to have a coffee. I'll be right back. So to remove this beastie, so these have to come out. This really isn't the right size screwdriver. In fact, looking at it, let's see. Ha! Oh, buggers. It's not a Phillips, it's some kind of special thing that the Phillips gets it started. Hopefully, ha ha ha. Unfortunately, they're not something that's really tight. Right, let's just see. Okay, another piece out of the way. Oh, I should really check the pressure on that while it's out. Right. And the next item is what? Interesting. Oh, that strap should be around the battery. Whoever put this in didn't do it properly. This is a hard job, but I like to do it right. I hope that didn't hurt, I dropped you. Now, okay, so that wasn't part and parcel of it, but that strap should be round there. It's a neat little way it works, actually. Rather impressed with that. Sheesh kebab. What is next? Not sure if that... Oh, that's not glued. That's alright, I thought the panel was tucked underneath that, it's not, so that can stay in position. I guess the next thing will be, let me move you, will be to get this panel off, and the same on that side of course. Got some little poppy things. Probably in the most awkward places. I'll have to get a light in here. Let me bring you down a bit. And got these little poppers to come off. Now the panel here is tucked behind this piece of trim. So this has to come off, and this has some strange kind of different type of clip. Looks like you pry it up with a little flat blade screwdriver. So let me go get a little little flat screwdriver. If my teeth would work, it would really help. Okay, stand by. Right, now these little clips here, square ones, just go your small screwdriver under there. Oops. Bring it up, and out she comes. Obviously it shouldn't come out with the other piece, just the head piece should come out. And then you drop them. Oh, in fact, that's a handy little tray. If I put things in there. Oops. Sorry, didn't mean to kick you. Oh, and this one's missing this side. So that's those off. Oh, there's some on the inside here. You're going to have to search to find them. And of course, they don't want to come out easy. As Ringo Starr said, they don't come easy. And then that one came out complete, which it shouldn't. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this still doesn't move. Why doesn't this move? Oh my God, what now? What is holding it now? If it's not those clips, could it be the boot seal is holding it now? It's on top of the boot seal. Oh, maybe there's some, yep, there's clips behind, so you have to use persuasion. As you just saw, things pop out everywhere. So there's a piece right up here, you can't see it, but right, and then of course you have to disconnect the light. I'm sorry you're not getting a good view of this. I'll show you on the other side in a second. Alright, and you have to undo the light connection, and it's just a little squeezy plastic thing, and because it's in the boot you don't have much problems with it sticking. Right, that's that stripped out. What is next? Ha! You bastards. Okay. There is a nut just here that has to come out, that holds the panel on. And then obviously these clips have to pop out. So let's have a look at that. And I pop these out with a screwdriver. Now they're just your normal clips. Okay, I'll struggle with that later. Oh, great. Down here we have these, which are for, I think they're for retaining netting or something like that. They're held in with the Torx. So there are Torx. Let me go grab a Torx tool and see what size. Okay, the nuts that are on the panel here, they're an 8mm, and these Torx screws are a T20. As always, sorry about the back of my head. And it looks like they only go in a certain way. They have a little pin on them. got to separate this now. Well, that's really fucking helpful. How the hell are you meant to do that? Okay, so that piece comes off. Now you have to take it off like that, and then you can just leave it there. Then the side panel here will come off, he says, thusly. And watch that. And that little piece of plastic here slides down, so when you're putting this back on, make sure you get it out first. Now, this panel now pull out. It would appear so, but catching on that, so I'll just move that out of the way. That would break it. Finally, my God, all this just to change the bloody shock absorbers. There it is. Hang on a minute. Here it is. That's what I was getting to. I've got to do the same on the other side. So whilst this panel doesn't have to come out, it does really, because it just gets in the way and you don't want to break it. What a bloody joke. They could have given us an access panel. That would have been helpful, wouldn't it, guys? What? Access panel? What's an access panel? Oh, it's so you can get the shit, you motherfucker. Alright. So, next job. Take the one off on the other side. Similar thing. I see there is a 12 volt socket there. So you're going to have to disconnect the wire from that as well. And it appears they... the body shop were working on this, weren't they? And I bet they didn't put this piece of plastic back in on that side. I bet they forgot it. I expect when I take that panel off, I'll find this over there. Bad boys, not doing the job properly. Someone's going to get a spanked bottom for that, because I paid a lot of money to have this car fixed. Well, body wise. Okay, let me get that one off, and then we'll continue with the mechanical work. Now, this socket, I'm going to show you what I did. Why, you may say? Well, purely because it puzzled me for a long time how to get this out of here. I couldn't find anywhere to squeeze. It is a plug, and you get in. I did this. I got in down here, thin screwdriver, and just twisted it, and then gave it a little bit more and twisted it again. You can use a spike or something, and it unplugs thusly, and there's like two connections there, and obviously that two there. So that's a bit of a faff, that one. So that's where it goes, and then it comes out like that. In case you're struggling, that may help you. At least you won't have to waste time like I did. Right, just trying to take you for a little tour. Let me see if I can back out of this. I'm a little too close there. There we go. Alright, so that's the mount for the driver's side. You will note that this panel is just flopping and it doesn't appear to be held. There's no clips or anything. So it must be that when the other panels are in, it just holds it in place. There are all sorts of wonderful things in here. There's a CD player there. I believe on that one you can put in it might be for the navigation system. I'm not sure, in all honesty. This isn't my car, it's my wife's. Notice, well, they even put a sound deadening inside the spring. There's little details like that. Here's why, excuse me, you pay extra for the Mercedes. Oh, and there's the piece of plastic. Obviously the people forgot it, so I will bring it up here and tape it, and then when I go to put the panel back on, it won't get forgotten. Now, nicht vergessen. I'm not quite sure if that's right. But anyway, here we are. Battery, lots of annoying fuses. Let's hide everything in the boot and make it difficult to get to. See what else we got here. Nothing really exciting. That looks like it's an optic fibre there. That may well be the navigation system. I know there is a CD player inside the car. Alright, boy and girl. Boy and girl, boys and girls. Let me back out of this. So now, with that huge pile of stuff here that I have just taken out of the boot, now I can get to the shock absorbers. Next task, jack this baby back up in the air. Once it's up in the air, then I can undo those bolts there and get these shock absorbers out. Wow, what a faff. And as I mentioned previously, this is a good opportunity to take the spare tyre out, make sure it's up to pressure once you've got all this crap out of the way. Oh, and that's all I did, just to hold these pieces of plastic up. Just put a piece of tape round there and just let it dangle on it. That way when you put the panel back in, you won't make that mistake. And obviously do the same on both sides. That's all you need to do, nothing elaborate. I mean, you can do it whatever way you like. I just did it with blue tape. It was quickest and simplest, and it was close at hand. Alright, now let's get on to get those shock absorbers out. Oh, and you will note the top of them is just a flat piece. So it's very thin, probably no more than, I don't know, not even a quarter of an inch. Maybe just, you know, I don't know, 8 maybe, or in some millimetres, and I haven't got a clue. But it's thin. Maybe it's a 1/16, 1/8 of an inch thick. And then obviously undoing the main nut. Shouldn't be difficult. Ha ha ha. Famous last words. Okay, so obviously the first thing you got to do is take off the wheel. Do you have to? No, you could probably get away with not taking the wheel off, but I would strongly suggest you jack it up because it means you can get the shock absorber out. To get off the wheel, I've got this rather special socket designed specifically for the deep dish wheels on the Mercedes. It's made by Westwood, and the number is 5MW97, and that's WESTWARD, Westwood. Made in Taiwan. So you might want to get one of these quick before China invades Taiwan and takes over and you can't get shit. And it's a great socket. It's nice and deep, goes in, it's a perfect fit, and it is actually a 17mm. Now, to remove the bottom shock absorber bolt, you're looking at two 16mm bolts. Oh, sorry, wrench it, you know. One 16mm bolt, one 16mm nut. And this also makes it easier to get this bloody thing off. Whoopsie. And of course it's a special lock nut, or locking nut, so it doesn't come undone fingers. You have to fight it all the way. Now I've already been up into the boot and taken the nut and the washer off up there, so we'll see whether or not that will come off easily down here. Ha ha ha. Can I push this out? Can I help? Maybe if I pull down on the shock. Nope. Okay, this is going to be fun. Now with layouts I can't wind it out, but we'll try. Well, might be able to tap it out if I can't wind it, but it does seem to be coming. Of course, I'm not going to be able to get it all the way out, am I? It is actually unwinding that way. Hopefully there's not some kind of loose spacer in there. Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Oh jeez. Don't tell me that sleeve is loose. Oh, maybe it's the sleeve in the shock absorber. I'm going to have to tap this out. Using a suitable tippy-tappy tool. This is where you need 3 hands. Oh dear, look at that. It's all come loose. Oh no. Great. Now the question is, can I pull the shock absorber out? Actually, I've got it up too high, so I will have to lower the car down a bit because it's a little too high for me to pull on at the moment. So let me get that done in a second. Right. Let's see if I have any better luck now. Can I put it down, he says. Oh. These shock absorbers aren't terrible, but they do need replacing. I think what I will need is some kind of bar and pry. There may be other methods to doing this, I don't know, but I'm going to have to see if this works. Of course, it's very awkward to get into. You're going to be blocked for a moment. Give me a second. You have to fight the shock absorber, which is not easy. Because, as I said, they're not terrible, but they do need replacing. Get your weapon of choice. Okay. There we go. Yeah, you see it, don't you? Okay. I wonder if that comes off. Go on. That's that. Can't quite get the angle right. Look at that. I'm about an inch off. Unless I can compress this and pull it out quick. No. Okay, so now I have a dilemma. Oh dear. Alright. We'll just bring it up and over. This is the easiest thing to do. He says, ha ha, it's easy. God. What a faff. This was my own fault, as you saw. I took it the wrong way. Oh, now the shock absorber doesn't want to go up. That's not helpful. So sure as hell doesn't want to come down. Everything is in the way, isn't it? My God. You just fucking love cars. Okay, will you go back up the hole? Will you allow me to pull you up? Whilst you're all out there watching this saying, do note my left wrist is extremely weak after the operation, so I'm having to find different methods to do shit, and I don't have the strength to pull this down. I got a feeling that's going to get stuck if I do that. Let me fuck with this. I'll be back. Now, what I had to do here, as you saw, I was in a bit of a situation there with the ramp and everything. I couldn't get the shock absorber out. The only way to get it out in the end was to push it back up and then get it over this bar here. Now I could have undone that bar, but I didn't want to. The method I used to push it back up, because it still had quite a fair bit of resistance in it, I was using a bottle jack and just pushing it up there, and then once I got it up high enough I just grabbed it, pulled it across, and out she came. Then you have the same problem getting the new shock absorber back in, and I did the same method. I pumped it up here, pushed it over this bar, then pumped it up here and pushed it over there. I had to do that. I just, as I said, I don't have the strength in my wrist at the moment, so you know, if you're a strong guy you can probably do it without doing what I did with the jacks. But if you're not strong, or you can't beat these shocks because they're pretty good, then you'll have to use a bottle jack. Okay, undeading the bolt in at the bottom was the usual faff, because obviously then the pressure had pushed it down, so I had to get out my trusty little spike here and line it up, wiggle it this side and push the bolt in from the other side. Now all I have to do is tighten that up, put the cover back on, go in the boot, put that nut and washer back on, and then that's pretty much it really. It's not a horrendous job, it's just some of the challenges you meet when you're working on a vehicle, I guess, is the only thing I can say. Because they're dished in there, it made it a little more awkward, and perhaps because the shock absorbers aren't terrible, I was fighting the strength of the shock absorber, which wasn't too easy. There you go. Hope this video helps you, and if you have any questions, please feel free. You can always email me at gstargarage@gmail.com, and that is star with 2 R's. So gstargarage@gmail.com. Now get out in that garage, do some shit.